Welcome to the Genius Talk podcast. I'm your host Atul Raj from the bestemailmarketer.com, and today we have Tim Bradley with us. Tim, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Excited to be here.
Yep. Okay, so for our listeners who don't know you, can you tell them who you are and what you do?
Yeah. So I'm founder of Pennant Video Company. We're a mid-funnel focused video agency, and I've spent my entire career in video production, video marketing, primarily for brands. So I'm excited to get into it here today.
Okay, so I'm curious, like what inspired you to start Pennant Video?
Yeah, I've always sort of had this like entrepreneurial spirit. Like both of my parents were solopreneurs, each owning their own respective businesses. And I spent 12 years of my career in-house at a burgeoning agency, helping grow the creative department within that. And that time there definitely built a lot of this sort of like confidence as that entrepreneur, like, building teams, client relationships, business development, marketing, client fulfillment. We had basically a P&L that I was responsible for, right? Book of business. So a lot of that like confidence was burning in the background, but then it's just also kind of this time and experience in looking at the landscape at video marketing sort of at large, and like how, just the volume of content and the sort of general noise of all the social channels and every channel. It just got to this point where I really wanted to make sure that the work that my team and I were putting out into the world could make the most like impact for the clients that we're working with, right? So it's kind of the two sides of the coin there, right? Like that confidence in and of for myself and my career, and then just like the impact and the work we wanted to produce and put out into the world.
Okay, so who are your ideal clients? Who do you help?
Yeah. So there's a lot of like power of three types of language in our positioning. So we work with brands that embody the values of safety, security, and or sustainability. So, brands in healthcare, med tech, life sciences, climate tech, green tech, energy, cybersecurity, data, sort of software at large, right? So the reason for that is that these brands inside of these industries are in a constant state of innovation and often in a constant state of competition, and therefore there's always an opportunity for really impactful storytelling, right? So that's where we can come in and be the trusted partner, creative partner to help them get their message out to the world.
Okay, so can you share a project that you are especially proud of and what made that project stand out?
Great question. Yeah, because we, at any given time, we have whatever a half dozen to a dozen projects at different sort of stages, right? So it's always this cool opportunity to serve different clients in these ways. But I'd say one that always sort of stands out is for this healthcare company. They're Fortune like 25 or something, right? So they're big, but they were challenged with like how to showcase this technology that's often inside of a hospital, right? And so as you can imagine, it's very difficult to bring cameras and equipment and film inside of hospitals, right? So as creatives, that was our sort of first challenge, is like, how do we express how the audience like lives and feels and embodies their day to day inside of a hospital setting without being inside of a hospital, right? So we got to deploy this really cool technology. It's called like a volume wall or a virtual production wall, right? So imagine this like 70-foot wide wall by, I guess it's like, 18 or 20 feet tall, all LED screens, right? So if you've ever seen like The Mandalorian in the Star Wars world, they deploy this technology too. But basically it allowed us to use a video game renderer, like a picture renderer inside on top of this wall to create in this environment that is like a hospital in our backgrounds, right? And then, of course, we set the foregrounds with stretchers and IVs and the technology that our client had, right? And actors and talent and camera moves. So it really like gave this impression of being inside of a hospital environment, which really helped us in our storytelling, right? So I always liked that one because it was sort of like a good showcase of creative problem solving towards client goals, and really just making sure that we were all like serving the audience in the right way. Our sort of mantra here at Pennant is we're here to empower better decision making, right, on behalf of audiences. So I think this one really helped deliver.
Okay, so How do you balance creativity with client objectives in your work?
Yeah, well, I sort of have this saying in the beginning, which is safe wins the meeting, creative risk wins the audience, right? So we're always, as the creative partner, trying to always be working on behalf of the audience as much as anyone else. Like, of course, the brand is paying our invoices and we have to respect that, but there is like a lot of objectivity and we can play devil's advocate in the right ways on behalf of the audience, right? So I think that's kind of this like headspace we try to live in early and often, that we're always advocates for the audience, right? And their needs in this moment to like make a decision in their journey with this brand. And then from there, there's the kind of classic guardrails, right? Of like timeline, budget, how many stakeholders, just kind of how we can best support this brand in what they're trying to achieve on behalf of their audience, right? Like we're all in it for the right reasons. So I think it's just a healthy balance of collaboration along the way.
Okay, so right now there are so many AI things going on. So do you guys use any kind of AI or everything manually?
Yeah, no, great question. I mean, almost all of our tools, like the Adobe Creative Suite, for example, has different parts, like different types of AI already embedded or integral to their platforms, right? So let's take the simplest of things like transcription, right? So like we can take our interviews, put it into Adobe Premiere, get the transcription, and immediately start sort of writing our story, right? If it's sort of an interview driven or documentary style creative approach. So there's that. Obviously, when we're talking about things like creative approach and strategy, it's helpful to ingest a lot of the information that the client provides us, like whether it's like marketing decks or sales decks or websites or one pagers or sort of a bunch of written materials, case studies, their social channels, as well as like their competitors, right? There's sort of two or three competitors. Like, how can we quickly ingest a lot of that information? So, using a tool like Claude or ChatGPT is really helpful to like help us get a better understanding quickly to the sort of like landscape that our client is in, right? And that helps us get into the creative development early. I'd say is things like video. So it's take Sora or VO or something like that, right? Like we have this conversation a lot with clients where you don't want to like a shortcut to erode trust, right? So if we're all working on behalf of the audience's desires and needs to make a decision here, right? Like we want to put the best set of everything to them, like messaging, visuals, audio, like the best experience possible,
Mhm.
right? So if using AI video doesn't help in this instance and it's really adversely like eroding trust in this audience in this brand, then we tend to defer it. Like say like, well, we'd encourage you to design your own elements here or to shoot this, film this thing practically. There's a lot of sort of ownership and pride within that too, and it helps build the brand's library of assets that are ownable too. So
Mhm.
it's always like a delicate balance, and we've had some prospects come to us and say like we want to do AI video from beginning to end, and we have to ask the main question of like why, right? And often it's because like we want to get out there fast, we want to have this be less money or whatever the situation is, and it's like, well, none of those things are actually true, right? You still have to iterate. You have to, the AI doesn't give you exactly what you need the first time. There's a lot of different layers of complexity across all of the different tools and applications available. So like there's this sort of mystique that, oh, it's cheaper and faster. And while that like might be true, you need the right creative partner to help you get there. And like
Mhm.
that just takes a lot of time and experience, which usually those two things don't equal cheap, right?
Exactly. Okay, so can you walk us through the process of working with you?
Sure. Yeah. So we're a team of creatives with different disciplines, right? So we have creative director, writer, head of motion design, art directors, producers, right? So and then myself, I'm sort of the de facto like executive producer that's sort of handling everything from like the client relationship and just sort of budget and all that stuff. So for the most part, a client is coming to us at like an inflection point, like they are going through some new positioning and maybe a bit of a rebrand or a new brand altogether, right? Or there's a product launch, or there's an initiative like a sales kickoff or a customer experience event, or they're, doing an activation at a industry trade show, right? So there's usually these like pretty pivotal moments where they need that partner that can help them, again, like be objective, but also like work on a timeline, right? Like most of our projects are like 6 to 8 weeks, sometimes 10, depending on production and things. But it's like really a partner that can like champion this project in this like really needle moving moment objectively, right? We also love working with brands that have internal creative teams or internal video teams, because there's like two things. One is it's like a signal to us that the leadership has already like they've sort of bought into the medium at large. Like they've adopted like video as like a need in a medium that like can do work and do a lot of hard work on behalf of the brand. But we find often that those internal teams or resources are really out of bandwidth, right? Like they have all sorts of internal stakeholders from, obviously like leadership and sales and marketing and recruiting and HR and PR. And so there's a lot of needs to sort of like beat this like regular drum of communication. And that's super important for a brand to do. And it's great for those internal teams to do. But often those teams don't have enough bandwidth to support a needle moving initiative like we do in this moment in time in a timely way with focus, or even with the creative sort of experience, right, under their belt. So those are sort of like the things we look for in a partner, right? Is like, is this sort of inflection point or this moment that they need? And do they have internal resources too that we know that like we can support and build on upon their success in the day to day, right?
Mm-hmm.
We at Pennant have this IP, this framework called the video marketing trifecta. So it's really again like this framework to help our marketing partners to build the right sort of sequence of video of tools to build upon a robust buyer's journey, particularly in the middle of the funnel, right? So the trifecta ultimately is to help brands differentiate, demonstrate, and validate their offerings. So those are kind of the three prongs. Within that, it's like the deliverables, right? So uh, help differentiate a brand is to really that expression of why, like why they exist, why an audience should care, why they're different from their competitors, right? And so it's this really like anthemic video, like an anthem video is what we call it. It's really that kind of flagship asset, that blue chip asset that helps brands differentiate, right? The other prong of that trifecta are those explainer videos, right? The what you do and how you do it, sort of speaking to the minds of that audience, right? That demonstration of your values, really, and of your val props. And then the third prong of the trifecta are endorsement videos or customer success stories or testimonials, right? They're all kind of synonymous, but really that third party validation from customers, right? Again, help build on trust and really help close a deal from like a sales enablement perspective, right? So again, the trifecta: differentiation, demonstration, validation. It's those anthems, explainer, and endorsement videos that really build a smart. I always describe it as like rungs of the trust ladder, right? Especially in B2B, where sales cycles can be, 3, 5, 10 months long, right? You need to have these really thoughtful touch points in that buyer's journey. And so this trifecta framework helps with that.
Okay, so what you do is in the middle of funnel, right? So is there any specific like top of the funnel or maybe the front end?
Yeah, so like the top of the funnel is advertising, right? So yeah, so we have partners. In fact, like my business partners also own a commercial advertising production company. So like it takes a really different sort of like set of focus and creative intention to produce the different types of work, right? Like I'd argue the bottom of the funnel too, right? Or sort of that like affinity building where it's like what we don't do is like we don't do event coverage, we don't do internal communications, we don't do like recruiting, employer branding types of work, right? Like we usually again we see that being taken of in-house, right? Like the in-house creative teams are really supporting those types of initiatives. So yeah, we really love this, what we call like the messy middle, right? The middle of the funnel, where it's like really the goal and the charge is to build trust. And so we take a lot of pride and a lot of care in producing this type of work because it has to work hard on behalf of a brand, right?
Okay, so for our listeners who want to know more about you or want to connect with you, where can they go?
Yeah. So I'm very active on LinkedIn. That's probably the main channel for me. So you can find me at Tim Bradley or Tim Bradley Pennant. Our website is pennant.video or pennantvideo.com. And we're active on LinkedIn on the Pennant channel too. On our website, currently there's like a pop-up ungated where we have a ebook that people are welcome to download. It's a PDF, but it's called Funnel Focus. And so it's like it's meant to support marketers who are trying to build a robust buyer's journey across, from top to bottom of the funnel using video, right? So it's like pretty
Mhm.
prescriptive on like what types of videos are really impactful where and how to like consider producing them. There's also a sort of a fun little quiz that the marketers can take, right? To be like, oh, like where am I at in my journey today, right? Because it's like
Mhm.
inevitably you're not going to have all the videos you ever need like immediately, right? But it's like it is a journey in building your library of tools to support your marketing initiatives.
So, Tim, is there anything else that you would like to share?
Just thank you for having me. It's like I think video is just such a powerful medium. It's the preferred medium by audiences everywhere, right? And it's like it can come in all shapes and sizes in production value too, right? So I think if you're a marketer or a CEO just getting off the ground, right? Like just practicing the craft, like getting on camera, like understanding your sort of posture, joining podcasts like this, right? To just kind of like help you with your with like how to best represent yourself on video, I think it's a real powerful skill and craft in and of itself. And I think you'll find you'll have a lot of like respect for the creatives that do this in the day to day too of producing. So yeah, it's just an exciting time to be a video producer and to do video marketing, at large. So yeah, just thank you for your time.
Awesome, Tim. Thank you so much for spending some time with us. And it was really fun hearing you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.